I asked ChatGPT how to punish early queen attacks, and it gave me 7 things to do. I'm going to go through those one by one and either give it a thumbs up if I agree with it or a thumbs down if I disagree with it, and we'll talk about why. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Number 1 on ChatGPT's list of dealing with early queen attacks is develop your pieces. An early queen sortie by your opponent can be a sign that they are neglecting development. Use this time to develop your pieces effectively, controlling the center and preparing for castling. I'm going to go with a thumbs up. That is fantastic advice. You absolutely should be developing your pieces, controlling the center, and getting ready to castle. And against an early queen attack, it's even more so, especially if you can attack the queen while you develop. One of the major drawbacks of the queen coming out is it's a high value piece. And so if it's attacked by a knight or a bishop or a rook or a pawn, it has to move away. And that can be very, very beneficial. So ChatGPT gets a thumbs up on the first one. Number 2, it says to create threats. Look for opportunities to create threats that your opponent must respond to, potentially distracting or misplacing the queen. I'm going to give that another thumbs up. And we kind of already talked about it, but if you can develop a piece and create a threat on the queen at the same time, that's a very good thing. Now, you might be saying, but Nelson, you're going to lose the pawn. That's okay. We're going to come back and talk about why that's okay in just a second. But so far, ChatGPT is 2 for 2, 2 thumbs up. Number 3, it says trap the queen. Sometimes an early queen attack can lead the queen into a vulnerable position. Look for ways to coordinate your pieces to trap the queen. Okay, I'm going to have to go with a thumbs down on this one, and here's why. It's going to be very, very difficult to actually trap the queen, and if that's what you're thinking about, I think your focus is going to be misplaced. Okay, you don't really want to be thinking about trapping the queen. If it happens, and that's great, but it's such a rare occurrence. I don't agree with this one. I think ChatGPT is confused, and you should focus more on developing and attacking the queen by gaining tempos rather than trying to trap it. So thumbs down for number 3 for me. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 says gain tempo. Use threats against the queen to gain tempo. Every time your opponent has to move the queen to avoid capture, you get a free turn to improve your position or develop another piece. Wow. That one is awesome. 2 thumbs up for me. That is perfect. And it goes back to what we were saying about developing and attacking the queen. The reason that is so good is because of number 4 here, gaining tempo. If I'm able to do this, I gain a tempo on the queen. If the queen takes here, I go bishop e7, white does something, guess what? I gain another tempo. This is called the kitty counter gambit, by the way. It's one of my favorite responses to queen h5 because you gain a bunch of tempo by developing your pieces quickly, and the queen just has to keep moving around. Okay? Absolutely love it. ChatGPT, way to go. Number 5, counterattack. Often, moving the queen out early can weaken your opponent's king safety or leave other pieces undefended. Look for opportunities to launch a counterattack. So it wants us to counterattack on the king or a weak spot left by the queen? No. Thumbs down, because while that's possible, it's really not my focus, and it's kind of rare. Yes, are there going to be certain situations where they go here and you can jump in and try to take advantage of the fact that the queen is gone? Sure, but it's super easy for white to deal with that, and it's hard for you to take advantage of that. Now your knight's being attacked. I don't really like that. I think a better move here is to play something like a6, gain a tempo by continuing to harass the queen. So the counterattacking advice of like looking for spaces around the king, thumbs down. That's not good. Let's go to number 6. Avoid moving the same piece multiple times unnecessarily. Okay, this is a tough one. I'm going to tentatively say thumbs down, only because it doesn't really apply in this particular situation. It has nothing to really do with the queen coming out. Yes, general chess advice, don't move the same piece twice in the opening, makes sense and is good. But in our particular example, we're talking about how do we deal with early queen attacks. I wouldn't really say that avoid moving the same piece has anything to do with that. So that's going to get a thumbs down for me. Number 7, evaluate the board thoroughly. Always take a moment to look at the whole board to see if the queen's position has left any vulnerabilities in your opponent's camp. Thumbs down. Again, that's good advice. You should always look at the whole board. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying in relation to the queen coming out, it's sort of like a side note thing. It doesn't really apply again. Okay, not what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm actually going to be focusing laser focused on the queen, and I'm going to be gaining these tempos by attacking it. That is how you best take advantage of it. So ChatGPT had some good things. I would say they got 3 out of 4 correct, but really some of those were a little bit off of the mark. There's a couple that I would like to add. Number 1 is watch out for the 4-move checkmate, which happens on this square, because I can guarantee you that if somebody starts the game this way, that's probably what they're thinking of trying to do. Okay, and there's a couple of different ways they can do it, but this is the most common because it actually sets 2 different threats up. And if you try to stop this one, you can walk into a fork. Okay, so if I'm going to add my own list here, I want you to pay attention to the checkmate threat as well as to the fork on E5. It's super common. Please do not fall for this. And I'm going to show you the super simple and easy way to deal with this. You can also play the kitty counter gambit like I just showed you. But this is the sort of standard way to respond. You defend the pawn. They're going to go bishop c4. They're going to try to checkmate you. You don't play knight f6 attacking it because you don't actually deal with the threat. So that's why I'm saying you want to watch out for this, okay? You cannot let them do this because as long as you succeed in stopping this, they're going to be totally flustered. They're not going to know what to do. You're probably going to win the game. This is your only task. So what do? You block the queen with g6. Notice I've defended my pawn first. This is the key that you have to remember. Defend your pawn first. They can't take it. They'll go back, trying again. Block the queen. And if they come over here with the last-ditch attempt, the best move is actually a little sacrifice here. You're going to gambit this pawn to get into a great position. Knight to d4. Attack the queen. They're going to think they have you with a check. Doesn't matter. Look at the situation. That's under attack. This is under attack. How do they save both of those things? Well, they're going to go queen c4, try to hold on, and now you play b5, gain the tempo, and you're forcing the queen off of this diagonal, and you're going to win the piece for free, and now you just have a winning position. Okay, you can finish developing your pieces, and everything is good. Okay, now, going back, they could also, from the beginning, play bishop first. You could still play knight to c6, but you have to watch out for where the queen goes, okay? Because if the queen goes here and you play g6 like I showed you in the last example, you didn't block the queen. So it's important that you always think about which move blocks the queen. That's the one that you want to play. That's how you avoid getting checkmated, okay? And like I mentioned, you can also just go with the kitty counter gambit where you just sacrifice a pawn and you're going to get a whole bunch of pieces out quickly. And this is a fantastic opening as well. Lots of fun to play this one. A little bit more advanced maybe, so if you're a beginner, go with the other option. That's my advice. It's super easy to deal with early queen attacks as long as you understand what they're trying to do and the best way to stop it. Let me know in the comments if you guys have questions. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, play smart, and take care.